Good afternoon, students. I welcome you all in your social science class. Students, we are doing chapter 2 Federalism. In this chapter, we have already learnt about the federal system and the unitary system of government. We also discussed about the features of federalism and different types of federations, like coming together federations and holding together federations. Students, today we will discuss about the provisions which makes India a federal country. What is there in India so that we can say it a federal country? Let's see. Students, India has emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. You know that India was divided into India and Pakistan in 1947. India became a separate country and Pakistan became another country. Soon after independence, several princely states became a part of this country. Students, there were about 540 princely states of different size in India at that time. Princely states means the states ruled over by princes. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel merged all these princely states into Indian Union. Students, the constitution declared India as a union of state. Our constitution framers thought very smartly. They were very intelligent people. They probably know the gravity of the situation. So, in constitution they never used word federation. They always state over and over again that India is a union of states. But the Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. All the features of federalism are present in the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution originally provided a two-tier system of government, the union government and the state governments. And they represents the Union of India and the state governments of India. Later, in addition to these this two-tier system, a third tier of federalism was also added in the form of panchayats or municipalities. The Constitution has made provisions for the distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state governments. Students, legislative powers means law making powers. These powers come under three lists: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Okay, let's discuss about union list. Union list is the first fold of the three list system. It carries the subjects of national interest. In these subjects, we need a uniform policy. You can say, in these subjects, we need same policy for the whole country, and have to every state has to follow these laws or guidelines. Students, it originally has 97 subjects, but at present these subjects are approximately 100. The exclusive power to make laws on the subjects mentioned in the union list is given to union or central government. Only the central government can make laws on the subjects mentioned in the union list. Subjects of union lists are defense, atomic energy, foreign affairs, railways, banking, communication, and currency. And these are the subjects of national importance. Now let's jump on to next list. Next list is state list. State list is the second fold of the threefold division of the power. It contains subjects of state or local importance. The state legislatures, like state assemblies, legislative assemblies, and legislative councils, have power to make laws related to the subjects mentioned in the state list. This list contains subjects like police, trade and commerce, agriculture, and irrigation. This list originally contains 66 subjects, but the number of subjects has been reduced to 61 as 5 subjects have been shifted to the concurrent list. Okay, 5 subjects of state lists were shifted to the concurrent list. Next is concurrent list. This list constitutes the third fold of the list system. The subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments are included in this list. Both the union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in the concurrent list. If their laws conflict, means the laws made by central government and the state governments conflict with each other, the laws made by the union government will prevail. Subjects such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption, divorce, and succession are included in this list. Students, it had originally 47 subjects, but at present there are 52 subjects in this concurrent list, because you know that 5 subjects were taken from the state list and they shifted in the concurrent list. Now, what about the subjects which do not fall or comes under any of the 3 lists? What about the subjects like computer software, information technology that comes up after the constitution was made in 1949? According to our constitution, the union government has the power to make laws on these residuary subjects. Students, residuary subjects are those subjects which do not fall in any of the 3 lists. Subjects which came up after the constitution was framed. Now let's move forward. Students, you have noted that most federations are formed by holding together, and these, in such type of federations, equal powers are not given to its constituent units. Means all states in India do not have same powers. They do not have identical powers. Some states enjoy a special status. For example, Jammu Kashmir had its own constitution. Okay? Many provisions of Indian constitution were not applicable to this state without the approval of the state assembly. Indians who are not permanent residents of this state could not buy land or house there. But in August 2019, the Union Legislature passed a law in the Parliament and abrogated the Act 35A and 370, which grants special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Similar special provisions exist for some other states of India as well, like some northeastern states. There are some units in Indian Union which enjoy very little power. As you know, in holding together federation, all states or all constituents do not enjoy equal powers. And those units which enjoy little power became an independent state. They are very small units and they cannot become an independent state, but they could not be merged with any of the existing states. These areas are like Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, or the capital city of Delhi, and such units are called union territories. These territories do not have the power of a state. The central government has special powers in running these areas. They govern these areas through a lieutenant governor or chief commissioner. The sharing of power between the union government and the state governments is basic to the structure of the constitution. It is the basic structure of the constitution. It is not easy to make changes in this power sharing arrangement. Means no government can change this arrangement of power sharing easily. The parliament cannot on its own change the arrangement. Parliament do not have power to change these arrangements of power sharing. If any change is required in such arrangement, then it has to be first passed by both the houses of parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Then it has to be ratified. Ratified means approved by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. Students, here judiciary plays an important role. It oversees the implementation of the constitution provisions and the procedures. In case of any dispute about the division of powers, the high courts and the Supreme Court can make decision. The union and the state governments have the power to raise their resources by imposing taxes in order to carry their governments. And the responsibilities assigned to them means the governments, whether it is a union government or a state government, some works are assigned to these governments, and for those works they need some money, they need some funds, and they get money from taxes. So union government and state government